Alright, good morning. Welcome to the first installation of SUDOSpeak. I'm Christian Fay. Today I'm going to talk to you about feature creep. So, what is feature creep? First off, feature creep is the process in engineering where as the project goes along, more and more features that could go in the system end up getting added to the system. And so this might mean at the very end of your project, all of a sudden, I'm not going to say just the manager, but the manager, the project manager, the artist, the customer, anyone in the line can say, hey, I think this would be a fantastic feature to add to this. Sounds like a great idea. Obviously, making your product better is fantastic, but you have to start looking at the other sides to this. So first off, there are a couple issues. First off, more time is required to implement new features. Now, that sounds like a duh statement, obviously, but for some reason, managers and project managers and a lot of these people don't seem to understand that new features take more time. And so when you say, hey, can you do this for me? And the engineer looks at you and says, well, that's going to take you about a week to do. And they say, well, hold on, we don't have another week to do this. How does that work exactly? So that's really the issue here. The timetable needs to be extended for a lot of these features. But usually you can't extend the timeline. So there's a problem here, and you end up making your engineer work either overtime, or you finally break down and say, okay, fine, you can have more time. So next, obviously more requirements equals more time, which equals higher costs. Not just for the engineer, but also for testing. Testing is a big deal. All of a sudden you add a new feature and it starts getting tested and you have bugs in it. Now there's more reworking time for the engineer. So next is system design. Engineers design things to be robust, and when you start adding features, small graphical features are not a big deal, but when you start asking for new functionality inside the system, the existing design may not accommodate for that. And so when engineers design systems, they design them to do the task they're designed to do. And so when you start adding new functionality, all of a sudden you may throw that design out the window, and now they go back to square one. So there's additionally more time, more cost. What else? Additionally, and this one's sort of more of a ephemeral kind of issue, is that consistently augmenting the scope of your project is actually kind of bad for morale. Employees start looking at their project going, oh, well, I wonder what's next. What's going to get pulled in here right at the last minute before it goes to quality assurance? There's really only one way to deal with that, and that is to try and reduce the feature creep. Obviously, sometimes it's required, but more often than not, it's just, oh, I think this would make it a little better. And a little better for a week's worth extra time may not be what you need to do. So a couple tips. First off, only add required features. That's a big one. A lot of features that are added really are not required. The customer doesn't need them. They are there for fluff, and you could wait until the next revision of your product to get out to put that kind of new feature in. But the required ones, obviously if your customer's not going to buy your product, you don't have a product to sell, so you need to make sure that the customer is happy. That being said, don't let the customer steamroll you. If you give a customer full reign of whatever they want and you say, oh sure, we'll go ahead and add whatever you want, there's going to be a point at which your cost outweighs the amount of money that they're going to give you. So again, you start off with a scope doc, keep it a scope doc. That's the key. Last one. In your original estimate, maybe account for some small changes. Account for a certain period of time where you can push other tasks into it. This will help your engineer because they're not as frustrated and as time-bound. It'll also allow you to